Do, do. Have you guys seen the articles in the mainstream media about me? Do you realize that the mainstream media cares about the state of my penis? Did you think about it? Did you process this information? Like, maybe my penis is penetrating vaginas. Have you ever considered this possibility? Don't you spend your entire day thinking about this? Because I know some female journalists in the mainstream media, who are thinking about that question every day. JF, send a thank you to Sticks. Oh yeah, I do thank Sticks. It was good of him to publish this video. For those who are sending me messages in private saying, JF, have you seen what they're saying about it? About you? Yes, I've seen it and I don't care. It's like these articles, when you boil them down to the facts that are proven, they prove that I've been having exes. These exes were female heterosexual women. And that's all they have. Then they have these exes making false statements, which they've been making for years. And for years I've told these old statements by these women, they're all false. So they try to make a news out of it, but this is all old documents. All of it was not pursued in criminal court. Why? Because they were lying. And they knew very well that they would get caught if they were continuing this in criminal courts. But the mainstream media is always happy to go look at the whole story and twist the words, make it look like Glitchmod, $1.99 US, says press 1 to impregnate retarded Latino teen. That was the title, essentially, of the Daily Beast article. Very dishonest to say that I made love to a teenager, while not mentioning that teenager in their definition includes adult teenagers, because she was 19. Very dishonest of you, Daily Beast. I shouldn't have been as kind as I was and granted you an interview, because you clearly deceive your readers with this title. Also, one thing I really liked about this article about me is that I'm being accused of being involved in a pregnancy plot. Do you have any idea what a pregnancy plot is? It's when a journalist cannot say rape, she cannot say abuse. She's like, shit, the girl wanted it, the guy wanted it, it's consensual sex. How can I make this look bad? And this brilliant Jewish journalist from the Daily Beast concluded, I will call it a pregnancy plot. I want to show you something. How do I show you this? Yeah, there it is. Here's two birds involved in a pregnancy plot. You see how they're planning to make babies? That's a pregnancy plot. Trats. Here's a couple of trats involved in pregnancy plotting. See how she's planning to make babies? That's a pregnancy plot. So that's what the Daily Beast has against me. I've been involved in a pregnancy plot with a human female. And there's actually another article now, raw story. The story that is raw. We make no analysis, we just report the raw stuff. Raw story. White nationalists accused of bizarre scheme to impregnate autistic teen to secure US citizenship. Now, they haven't even processed the information that they're writing in there. Alright, so a prominent Canadian white nationalist YouTuber who has in the past made videos with racist icon Richard Spencer has been accused of trying to impregnate an autistic teenage girl in a bizarre bid to secure American citizenship. Now, what they don't seem to understand is that American citizenship, I could have added if I wanted, and in fact, having a child in America is not sufficient to have American citizenship. The reason I could have been an American citizen is that I was a permanent resident in America. I already have a child in the US, and so having a child with this 19-year-old Hispanic woman was not a plot to get American citizenship. Now, they could have self-owned, they could have self-discovered that was the case. Because in their very article, they report that I have a wife who claims stuff in court documents and that I'm involved in a custody case. Now, you idiots at Raw Story. If I have a wife in the US with a child in a custody case, I don't need an anchor child. You fucking retards. Do you think like anchor childs are like 2-for-1 pizzas? It's like you get a second anchor child, you're more based? Fucking idiots. Make sure you watch your Raw Story before telling stupid stuff like this. Social Justice Wire, $10 US. I read the Daily Beast article, Mr. Gariepi. If the dishonest language were taken out of it, it could be an Oscar-worthy film. A father pitted against a misandrist press and narcissistic woman. God bless you. Well, I'm very happy that you have detected these things. I agree with you. William Montpierre, $5 US. I'm donating this just to spite the Daily Beast. Also, do you know the alt-right group called IE? What do you think of them? I'm in contact with them. I'd like to have them on Warski Live. They are ready for it. Some people in the group. Yeah. So for those who are not aware, U.S. policy about anchor child is very loose. Having an anchor child is not the best way to enter the US as a citizen. And for someone like me who had a green card, making a supplementary child is absolutely useless from the immigration perspective. So Raw Story, you went a little too raw there. Make sure you check your stuff. Also, see, the fact that she's Hispanic. Let's talk about this a little bit, okay? Because I'm gonna film a video about what is white, and you'll see that that people from Spain, okay, genetically they are as close as can be from the French. So you're essentially accusing me of having sex with a half or even quarter Hispanic and claiming that this violates my own genetic standard. First, I will say I've never called for racial purity. I've never called for any sort of purity spiraling within the white race. In fact, I don't even object to to people just choosing their mate however they want. Even white nationalists can choose their mates. And the personal stories that we go through in life, they will lead us to encounter people of various cultures. And if we find an individual that is valuable there for living a life with us, there's no reason why political principles based around general statements around European identity would keep us from engaging in sex and reproduction and family building with a quarter or half Hispanic woman. In fact, not even with a full Hispanic woman, there would be no problem. I will say people quote Richard Spencer a lot. As far as I know, Richard Spencer advocates for a pan-European identity where people from Spain are included in his concept of Europe. It's really a bunch of articles written by ignorant people. This Jewish lady who wrote this article, I don't remember her name, on the Daily Beast. It seems that she's a head singer for a Korn cover band. She has issues with normal sex, normal straight reproductive sex. She doesn't like it. And so she came at me and she's like, okay, there's something wrong with this guy. It's a pregnancy plot. This guy is trying to have babies. There must be something wrong with this. There must be a ultimate goal. And so they made up this whole story about immigration. I was trying to penetrate the US, when in fact I voluntarily abandoned my immigration status in the US, which was guaranteeing a citizen position, because I had been a permanent resident in due process and I had followed all the rules. So technically I could have been an American citizen, but for personal reasons I've decided to leave the US. Specifically because it's just not safe to have a white baby right now in the US. The abduction rate is too high. Women will obtain 80%, 75 to 80% favorable outcomes in family courts. A woman, if you're married to her and she has the baby, and even if you're not married, in fact, she can simply abduct your child and the court will stand behind her. So the US is not a safe place for baby making, especially not for fathers who are interested in living a life with their child. So that's why I had to leave the US. It's not because of a problem with immigration. It's a problem with the fact that the US is not a safe space, because there are courts that will violate individual rights, particularly of fathers. FJ Studio, $10 US. Hey JF, say tabernacle in the echo. Tabarnak. Is it safe to be a white baby in Canada? Well, the family courts in Canada are not much better than those in the US. However, if you can find a woman who is not as aggressive as an average American woman, you will not have problems with family court, because very few will bring you there. So you have to be with someone you trust, of course. And the same can be said of the US. You can probably find a woman in the US that you can trust who will not lie against you in court. But as a French guy in a different culture than myself, I don't feel safe looking for mates, knowing that the last time I tried that, my child ended up getting abducted by this woman at birth. So she left the home before the pregnancy was over, and at birth she hid in the hospital took the child away from me. And the courts have backed her since then, and this is an appeal right now in North Carolina because the trial court violated several of my constitutional right to make this decision. So I'm very anxious to know about the result of the appeal, which will be in a few days. So it is said by the North Carolina Court of Appeal that at the end of March, I should have the response to my appeal. And all of this bullshit that you see in the Daily Beast might be overturned by a bunch of competent judges. I'm not 100% positive that it will happen because courts of appeal are pretty much as corrupted as trial courts in the US, but there's a hope. Maybe they will be so ashamed of the violations of due process that they will not be able to maintain the order. Cyborg £5. From a perfidious Albion, these scumbags at the Daily Beast, we will fight them on the beaches. Strung up, $5 US. Only white people have pink nipples. What is white has been solved. You're welcome. Pink nipple will not be my criteria today, but you might be onto something. I'll go more with DNA and genetics, but